Push it to the limit. Of course, right now. Walk along the razor's edge. When you're doing like 4 things at once, it's crazy. I got mad things to do right now. Oh my god. All right, so let me let this rock for a minute. I'm gonna be right back. Bunch of stuff, and it's gonna be on 1 2 1 2. There's too many things happening at once. I can't tell you yet. Nah, it's not that serious, but give me a second. Yeah, I'll play that song. Copyright me so fast. It would copyright my face off if I played that song. All right. All right. So basically what this is an IGN Q&A from people who play the game. All right. He's going to ask a bunch of questions. He's going to answer the questions. I think it's like 25 minutes, something like that. But I'm just going over this to see what it is that they ask and what it is that they answer and see which, I mean, you can't say really what's truthful and what's not because we haven't played the game, but we're just gonna see. I'm gonna also mute myself because I am smacking on some chicken right now and I get to eat. So y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna also remove myself from the screen. So here we go. One second. All right. And oh wait a minute. Push it to the limit. Trying.
Than punishing, like.
Hold on. Start it over.
Are the enemies aggressive and punishing?
Straight
like
to the questions. Let's go.
Gaiden 2, yet fast to kill, or are they passive damage sponges like Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma. This is from a hardcore Ninja Gaiden fan here right now.
Bro, in those little, I can't stand those preview intros when the intro is like part of the video. Just play it. Just play the video. If you do that, you're a scumbag. Like straight up, just play the video, bro.
You actually have the skills here. I'm just an old Ninja Gaiden head from back in the OG Xbox days. So
I'm getting up there too, Ryan.
I thought we could each bring our perspectives here, but the point of this video is to answer the viewer questions that they had after watching your video preview. So we've collected them from IGN, from YouTube, from wherever else this video was posted. So let's just dive in, because we've actually got a lot of great viewer questions here. This is probably going to be a somewhat long video, and I don't want to waste any time. Let's get into it. So our first question is a pretty simple one that I know you can answer. What are the difficulty levels for this one? Difficulty being, of course, famously attached to Ninja Gaiden. And I know you play on Master Ninja, don't you?
You think way too highly of me. My preferred difficulty for Ninja Gaiden is actually hard. I think Master Ninja ranks it up to a point where the way that I have to play in order to survive at that level of difficulty is like a very kind of safe, kind of no risks involved kind of style, where I have to like really focus on defense and making sure that I'm not leaving myself open to any kind of counterattack, because they will if they touch you, it's a real bad day.
So you're a sissy.
Hard I think is
let me stop.
In terms of, I'm still able to play in the way that I like. I have to use all my tools available, and it's just kind of like that right amount of friction that I kind of want to get out of this game. But yeah, as you said, it's easy, normal, hard, and Master Ninja. Those are the 4 difficulty levels, and I don't think there's going to be any differences.
Easy, normal, hard, Master Ninja. But you could switch between easy, normal, and hard anytime. Master Ninja, I believe you have to select it.
The full game, but I'm not sure.
Probably not. Yeah, that's most likely what we're going to deal with. Unless maybe in a new game plus, maybe there could be something else. We just don't know for sure. Our next question. Although I'm liking the look of Yakumo, I was wondering if you think by what you played that Ryu will have multiple weapons.
Before this question is answered, let me just say, Team Ninja, if you're listening to this, you understand that this is the most gripe that people have with the game. I think this is the pinnacle of anything desired in this game, is Ryu having multiple weapons. I think that should have been priority over anything else. But go ahead. It is what it is to this day. It's DLC, y'all already know, but go ahead.
Or just one weapon.
So this has actually been confirmed in an interview with, I believe, The Gamer. And if someone else did that interview first and then was just reposted, I apologize. But it has been confirmed that Ryu will only have the one weapon, and that other weapons will be added as DLC. In lieu of that, Ryu also has access to Ninpo, which Yakumo does not have. So he's got, I've only seen Art of Inferno. I believe he has some others that are, returning from other Ninja Gaiden games. Here's the thing. I didn't really get to play as Ryu in a kind of story kind of fashion. The way my preview worked was that I played the prologue, I played chapter 1 up to that boss that I talked about in the preview, and then you hit the title screen basically. You're kicked out. And then you can go back into kind of like a challenge mode, and then you can replay the levels as whichever character you want. You play either Yakumo or you play Ryu, and there's 2 extra levels that were added on top of that. So I didn't really get the sense of Ryu's progression, what he has unlocked from the start and what he has to unlock later on, or what his actual story levels are gonna look like. So yeah, hopefully that kind of answers the question.
Well, you just answered that for me too, because I will say I've been And I did the first preview for IGN, the first hands-on back in June, and you and I both came away, by the way, with the same conclusion, which is that this game is making us both extraordinarily happy so far, that we are super psyched about it, and it seems like a true return to form for the series after 3 and then the long hiatus from the mainline games. But
that's good to hear.
I'm one that I always loved playing around with all the different weapons depending on the situation in both Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. So if Ryu really only has one weapon and then more are going to get added as DLC, I don't love that.
Yeah, and what I'll add also is that, like, while 3 was definitely kind of a misstep, Razor's Edge actually...
I just want to say, I would love that too. However, because the other weapons are DLC, they most likely are not going to be balanced correctly into the game. Because if you really think about it, since the game only has the Dragon Sword, the game is balanced around the Dragon Sword. This happened in Ninja Gaiden 3 as well. The claws had infinite combos. The scythe was broken. Like, I hope that they get that right before they release the weapons in the game. You know, it's always cool to have weapons, but don't, like, it's either going to be overpowered or underpowered. It's hard to balance that after the game was made and designed for one weapon for said character.
Actually improved a lot of that game, and it made it, you know, into a game that's worthy of being part of the Ninja Gaiden trilogy. It went in such a different direction in terms of the combat compared to the first 2 games, and Ninja Gaiden 4, I think, really brings it back to, like, oh, this is the successor to the style of Ninja Gaiden in Ninja Gaiden 2. This is an iterative style of gameplay that builds on what Ninja Gaiden 2 did, which I think is one of the things that's really exciting about it.
All right, let's keep moving here. We've got so many questions to get to.
Sure.
Are the enemies aggressive and punishing like OG Ninja Gaiden 2, yet fast to kill, or are they passive damage sponges like Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma? This is from a hardcore Ninja Gaiden fan here, I can tell.
It reminds me of Ninja Gaiden 2. There are times where you just do a flying swallow, lop an enemy's head off, and you're done. That's it. that guy's dead. There are also times where, like, you know, you'll do a whole combo on them and they'll still get up. So it is kind of that thing of, you know, sometimes the random number generator will just work in your favor and you'll just lop an enemy's head off. Other times you need to work a little harder.
I wish it wasn't like that, to be honest with you. I think, especially for normal difficulty, right? For hard and Master Ninja, it's somewhat acceptable. But for normal difficulty, if you do a high-end combo on an enemy, they should be dead from it. Especially if it's a basic enemy. It should be guaranteed death. You should not be getting above the floor. Okay? A Zuna drop should kill like 80% of all the enemies on normal. Like, no excuses. Like, I think in Ninja Gaiden 2, I think the only enemy on normal that survived the Azuna drop was the red scorpion looking things. That was it. But I know the game still has like insta kill with flying swallows, like if they're in the air. They brought that back, and you know, simple things like that. But I hope they're just not damage sponges randomly, like he said. Like you do the 2 of the same combos on this, like clones of the same type of enemy, and then one survives and one doesn't. It's gonna be kind of annoying.
That is just the best feeling, though, when it's just a one hit. Like, oh, I don't think he's getting back up.
It's something so unique to Ninja Gaiden. It's one of the things I love most about that combat system.
Absolutely. From the same user, Serious Peaches asks, how's the performance? Any Unreal Engine 5 stutter? Before you answer, we of course have to caveat by saying we were playing this in late July, early August. Game's not out till October, so there will inevitably be more performance optimization. But with that said, go ahead, Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, nothing. Look, I don't have the game that I can like boot up and like, you know, check it right now. But while I was playing, nothing stood out to me. It felt smooth. It felt good. It looked great. I have no complaints about the performance.
I'll answer that question a little bit, sort of. Okay, I can't tell you if the game has like stutters or anything, but I will tell you there is 2 not confirmed 3 modes in the game. 2 modes are confirmed. The third one isn't. But there is a performance mode that plays the game at 60 FPS. I mean at 120 FPS with minimal like basic graphics or whatever. And then there is a graphic mode that plays the game at 60 FPS with high graphic options, whatever. This apparently a third mode, which is a balance mode, which plays the game in 60 frames per second, but it tries to like up the game, like I guess graphically, but not too. You know what balance mode do? It's like a hybrid between the two. It will make it so like cutscenes are in the highest graphic fidelity, but then like during gameplay when it's like a high demand area, it will go into like the basic thing. But I was saying the same thing. I hope there's no stutters, because usually when you make a game like that and you make 2 modes for the graphics, like there's a high chance of stuttering being an issue, because the game is not optimized for one set mode. It's optimized for more than one. It's like, hey, this game can run at 1080p 60 no issues, and then you just put another mode there to say, all right, run the game in 4K. It's like you hope it run better, but it can do it at times, but that doesn't mean it's gonna do it 100% of the time with no stuttering or issues or anything like that. But yeah, there's 120 frames per second mode in this game. You cannot do it on the Xbox S, just to give you a heads up. Only on PS5 and Xbox Series X. They did mention, and it was in the interview, it was in somebody's like description, that the Xbox Series X version runs the game the best. But they've only tested it on the Xbox Series X version, which makes me not believe that statement too much. So it is what it is. We'll know when it get here.
I would echo the same thing, and I would point out too that the first time that I played it, for the preview I did, the first hands-on in June, that was on a PC, almost certainly a high-end PC. I don't actually know what the specs were, because it was that Microsoft event. But then your preview, again, that we both played the build of, was off of a Series X, and it ran awesomely. It was every bit what you'd expect, a smooth 60. Now, we're not our friends at Digital Foundry, so we don't have like the frame-by-frame analysis, but all signs are pointing to it running really, really well. One more from Serious Peaches, who asks, are there secondary weapons like Windmill Shuriken and Incendiary Shuriken?
I would have to guess that there are, but in my preview build, I just had shurikens.
Yeah. All right, keeping it moving here. Next question, can you instantly...
Just to piggyback off the previous question, I'm not sure. Nobody has confirmed with me yet. But I was asking the question, does the Blood Raven mode and does Gleam mode power up your shuriken throws? Nobody has confirmed that with me yet, but if I get an update, of course, I'll just throw it in there.
Cancel attack animations with a block or dodge like in most other Platinum games. The original Ninja Gaiden games always had attack commitments, so wondering if those are still here in Ninja Gaiden 4.
So I believe, and this all just goes back to me saying that it feels like Ninja Gaiden, I believe it's the same where I don't think you can cancel an attack with a guard, but what you can do is cancel an attack with a shuriken. It's called a shuriken cancel. And that's what, you use a lot when you're trying to cut your combo short so you can restart a combo rather than going deeper into the combo tree.
You definitely can cancel an attack into perfect parry, because I've seen it done. Now, easy mode has auto dodge and auto parry, and we haven't been able to prove, the people that's playing the game what mode that they're playing. So that could be exclusive to that mode. We don't know yet.
So you can still do that, absolutely. But I don't think that there's guard canceling the same way that there is in a Bayonetta or I don't even know if I don't think Bayonetta has block canceling. I think it has dodge canceling. But no, I don't think so.
Okay. Next, Darkwing Spartan asks, how did you feel about Ryu apparently only having one weapon compared to Yakumo's 4 or 5? Does he have anything to make up for it? Does his kit seem limited? I guess you kind of
touched on it a little bit, yeah. I again, because I didn't play with him in a story capacity, I only played through the same levels as Yakumo. I didn't really get the sense that he was missing anything. But, you know, I think what's important to note is that weapons in Ninja Gaiden have always kind of been more about flavor than anything else. There are certain weapons that do better in certain enemy encounters, but for the most part, you can use the Dragon Sword throughout the whole game. Oh, yeah. It's just a matter of, you know, do you want to mix it up? And, you know, what weapon do you actually prefer using? So, as someone who's played the heck out of these games, the Dragon Sword has always been my favorite weapon for Ryu, so I unfortunately didn't really miss not having other weapons, because in this
he's Dragon Sword bias. I heard it.
I probably would just use Dragon Sword anyway. The weapons that Yakuma has are pretty cool though. He has like this kind of lance, almost like dagger lance that transforms into a giant drill, and that's where the platinum influence also really feels like, you know, this feels like a platinum weapon, and he can like jump up into the air, drill it into the ground, it can extend. It's really, really cool.
Let's see, still talking about weapons, was there real-time weapon switching in the preview? If so, how does the game balance difficulty around it?
Yes, and I think it's more of a flavor thing. I think it's just something, if you want to be really fancy, you can do to, you know, swap between your weapons mid-combo. The B-roll that we were provided, the footage in the preview, by the way, was provided B-roll. It wasn't my own B-roll, as much as I would like to lay claim to it. I feel like I had some pretty cool B-roll of my own that I could have captured, but they really went above and beyond in terms of the B-roll that they captured for this. But I think if you look at that B-roll, you can kind of see the real-time weapon swapping.
Yeah, I'm glad they provided good B-roll, because otherwise the comments would have been full of people telling us how much we suck at the game.
And I would have been so mad that I couldn't capture my own B-roll if that happened.
All right. Another one from Darkwing Spartan, who actually I was just mentioning this a moment ago. In his initial preview a couple months ago, Ryan said the camera felt much better than the old games. How do you feel about it? And before you answer, I'll just say that now I got...
Before y'all answer, let me just say, this was fixed back in, like, Ninja Gaiden 2, I would say. Like, Ninja Gaiden 2 had a lot of open areas where the camera wasn't really an issue. Like, we know the first Ninja Gaiden had some camera issues, but the camera never was the cause of death for people like it is in, like, old school Resident Evil. Because you always had a auto tracking attack. Like, it didn't matter. Even if you, like, oh, the enemy's on screen and you're holding block, Ryu's body shifts to wherever the enemy is towards. So you know that they're always there. You will never die from the camera. So I would say that the camera has been fixed a long time ago.
Now that I got to play a little bit more...
There is no perfect camera, though.
It still felt really good to me, but what was your take on the camera?
Yeah, I mean, I think it still feels really good. I think the big thing you have to remember is that this is a modern game that has learned from the mistakes of countless action games beforehand. Ninja Gaiden 1 especially was kind of notorious for its camera. I think mostly that was because a lot of the fights took place in like very narrow kind of corridors, like inside dojos and inside like cramped kind of corridors.
Right from the first mission of the game.
Yeah, and you know, you look at Ninja Gaiden 4 and the fights are largely happening in... There are a couple of tight corridors, but they're larger spaces than you would find in the original Ninja Gaiden. So I think more than just like the camera being better, it's more that just the places that you fight in have more space for the camera to move.
Here's a long question, so let's buckle up, from Tough Monster 7, who asks, did you happen to catch whether the Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, 3 classic technique reverse wind is present? And then he kind of explains it. Let's see if we can yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the bottom line. I'll bottom line it for you.
I feel bad saying a very short answer for this long question, but yes. No, I'm pretty
That's the bottom line. I'll bottom line it for you.
I feel bad saying a very short answer for this long question, but yes. No, I'm pretty sure it all feels the same as the old Ninja Gaiden games. So if you block,
classic moves are there.
Yeah, if you block, you can very quickly get out of your kind of block animation by just dodging, and you can use that to like block and then get out of the way of like an enemy flurry.
You hit on this a little bit at the top when we were answering the question about difficulty levels. But the next question is simply, how difficult is Ninja Gaiden 4 in comparison to the previous entries? I know it's a little, it's not necessarily quite apples to apples because
can't really answer that question until you play Master Ninja.
Who knows what difficulty level on the previous games, but generally speaking, what's your sense so far of that, Mitchell?
I would say that generally, I would say generally it's going to be easier. I think again, this goes back to this is a modern game made in 2020 in the 2020s versus Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden 2, which were made much longer ago, or a very long time
20
ago.
years, baby.
Yeah,
for
20
Ninja
years.
Gaiden
I don't even
1.
want to say it out loud.
Actually, 21. I mean, 20 for Ninja Gaiden Black.
But the point is that I think action game developers have learned that there's a kind of difficulty that players like and a kind of difficulty that players don't like. The kind of difficulty that players don't like is playing through a 25-minute section, dying, and then having to replay the whole 25-minute section. So what Ninja Gaiden 4 does is that when you get to a challenging part of the level, it will put a checkpoint right there. You don't even have to do anything. And if you die, you restart that fight.
That doesn't really speak to the difficulty of the actual game. I know what he means. Like, there's always going to be a hard wave in a game, like, period. Like, sure, it's not going to let you start the whole chapter over, but that doesn't mean that this hard wave in the game, like, if you die to it, you still got to start it over from the beginning of the wave. Well, then again, maybe you don't, because some of the waves in Ninja Gaiden 3, where he's like inside of his mind killing people, if you get through like half of the wave and then you die, it kind of pushes you towards the end of the wave. So I guess, but just truthfully, it's not even that. When he talks about the difficulty that people don't like, the difficulty that people don't like is simply artificial difficulty. You're not going to tell me to play the same game that I was playing on normal just because I take more damage playing it on hard. It's still the same game. That's not real difficulty. Actually make the enemies smarter, make them more difficult, like make them actually learn. And then enemy placement and variety is another thing.
So there were two main spots that I had some issue with. One was the fight right before the boss, and the other was the actual boss itself. And both those times, you die, you restart right at the beginning of the fight. I think one of them even has a checkpoint mid-fight, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But yeah, so you're doing less of the same things over and over again, which I think is a good thing. That said, don't let that fool you into thinking that this game is going to be easy. I did my playthrough on hard, and once I hit that fight, man, I was stuck there for a hot minute. Anyway, but it's not like I always say that when I know when I'm playing a good game, when I die and I'm not going, oh, it's BS. I'm going, oh God, it got me. And I'm excited to go at it again. That's to me, that's a sign of a good level of difficulty, and that's exactly what I got with Ninja Gaiden 4.
I'll say for me, I don't know if it's necessarily harder or not. I guess so far it's a little easier, but it's also the first level and
right.
The tutorial and the first mission of the game. Now I know some people would be like, well, Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 didn't F around, like they kind of get started pretty quickly, but I do suspect we're going to see some harder fights, harder bosses, harder enemies in general as we get deeper into Ninja Gaiden 4 once we get access to the whole thing.
And one more thing that I'll add to that is, while I feel like the game feels like Ninja Gaiden, and I've been playing these games for a long time now, and I feel like I'm pretty familiar with how the dance of combat works. Ninja Gaiden 4 adds this new mechanic of the Blood Raven form, and on Ryu's side, the Gleam form. And you have to find a way to incorporate that into your combat, because enemies will block your attacks until you use the new form to break through their guard.
I just hope it's not so forced.
They will counter your attack and hit you with like a pretty meaty counterattack. So there's a lot of like relearning that.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like let's say they block, right? Let's say I'm out of meter for my gleam attack, right? Does the game give me a chance where like if I recognize it fast enough, excuse me, and they block, can I like dash behind them and then hit them with like an unblockable? Like, does the game allow me to do that? Or does it force me to, I have to have meter. If I don't have meter, then I can't hurt you. I hope it's not like that.
I had to do with like, oh, how do I incorporate this new mechanic into what I already know how to do in Ninja Gaiden? Which, again, I felt like was a really good kind of iterative change that I really enjoyed, the challenge of.
Yeah, I would not have survived that stage 1 boss fight without using the Blood Raven attack, for sure. Here's a question we have not spoken to yet. Can you turn off blood? Sort of as a little nod to maybe some younger gamers who might need to turn it off or to get parental approval to play it.
I was a bad game previewer and did not check the settings to see if you could.
Yes, you could turn off blood. It's I don't actually, let me correct that. I don't think you could turn it off, but you could mitigate it. It's in one of the shorts for the Team Ninja. It's actually there. It's like a I think it's under gore selector. Like you can just mitigate the blood or whatever.
I unfortunately want the blood. So I did not get to explore the options.
Sadly, we would love to just check that for you right now as we're recording this video, but the build access has been revoked. So otherwise we wouldn't even be doing this video. We'd probably just still be playing Ninja Gaiden 4. But yeah, sadly we don't have the answer to that one, so apologies there. And I would say the same thing for this next one from Daniel, who asks, how much of the story do you play as Ryu and how much as a new character? We don't know yet. We just don't know yet if this is going to be kind of a Gears of War 4 kind of situation or more of a like Star Wars Episode 7 thing where we're handing off to the new generation and there's very little Ryu. We're just not sure yet.
There might be an interview somewhere out there on the internet where they talk about it. Unfortunately, we did not get to interview them for this preview cycle, but maybe check online. Maybe that answer is out there.
Well, here's a good one though from Yoni123. Do you have to learn combos? The NES games, talking about OG gamer right here, the NES Ninja Gaidens are absolute classics, but this seems kind of hectic and button smashy style of gameplay instead of the intricate and precise platforming of the originals that gave you a real challenge.
Then this ain't the game for you. Straight up. Like if hack and slash, I think this is a person who don't play hack and slash games but want to play the game because it's titled Ninja Gaiden and they know what Ninja Gaiden is based off playing it for like NES, or they probably have Ragebound now and want to play it. You have to learn combos, bro. Like that. I mean, you could cheese with the same type of combo, but you're still gonna have to learn how to get around certain enemies because it's not gonna let you do the same thing all the time. But yes, combos is important because that's how you're gonna finish off your enemy. You're not gonna one slash them every 2 seconds like a Souls game. Not even 2 seconds, like every 5 seconds of a Souls game. One slash, run away, slash, run away. This ain't that type of game, bro. This is slash, knock you in the air, slash, jump cancel, slash. Nah, let me stop. But yeah, you better learn your combos, boy.
So, more than knowing combos, you need to know moves. You need to know how to do a flying swallow. You need to know how to do a quick charge ultimate technique. If you want to play it like on the higher levels of difficulty. I don't know how
you don't need to learn a UT.
It's going to be, but my guess is that mode is balanced in a way where you can just kind of smash your way through it. But if you're going to be playing it kind of at a higher level, you do kind of need to know how to do an Izuna drop, which is X, Y, X, 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 Y, or square, triangle, square, 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 triangle. That's a really important move. You should probably know how to do a guillotine throw. You should probably know how to shuriken cancel. The Ninja Gaiden 4.
Let me admit to something right now. When Ninja Gaiden 1 came out, I think that was 2004, I beat the whole game without ever learning how to block, how to do a UT, how to throw. I just never like as a kid, I just never learned the game like that, you know? I was kind of just a jump and slash kind of guy. Like, I knew how to do the flying swallow. I knew how to jump. I knew how to do a Zuna drop combo. Mainly, I knew how to jump away and avoid things. But I never knew how to block, roll, none of that. I would just run away and jump. The rest was just health items to help me get through difficult situations. So you don't really have to learn all that stuff. But you have to learn enough defensively to be able to progress through the game.
Or takes away a couple of the moves from Ryu's typical roster or like typical repertoire. He used to be able to like tap or hold forward and press the attack button, and you do like a little roll strike, and you'd have combos that come out of that roll strike. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe they've taken out all of the hold forward and press attack kind of combo routes. So now it's.
I said that, but I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to play the game myself to prove if they were still there. Because somebody else said that you're going to have more moves with the Dragon Sword than you had in previous games. But every time I was watching the person attack, it looked like their basic attack string was the same. I'm looking for like XX forward X combo, X forward Y, something like that. I didn't see anything like that. The only thing I saw different was the gleam stuff. But I was just like, maybe it's just the person that's playing. Maybe it's just the person that's playing the game. And I'm going to still keep it like that. Maybe it's just the person that's playing the game. Maybe he didn't examine it deeply. But when we get the game, we'll know. But it was looking and leaning towards that might be the case, that they removed all of the alternate attack strings, and it's just simple like light attack string, heavy attack string, launch combo, and then maybe light attack string with a heavy finisher.
More traditional, and you also have combo routes with your new forms. So Blood Raven form, Gleam form, and then you also have like certain command moves like press back forward and triangle to do a certain move. Spin the left stick around and press the button, you'll do a move. And then all the different weapons have a move like assigned to that kind of input. So that's kind of what you need to know. In terms of like actual
back forward moves, that's Bayonetta
combos,
style.
I don't really think you're gonna have to do anything with that. But you should definitely know how to do it if you see the drop.
Yep, well said. And our final question from Mr. Burns Returns says, I never played the original 3. Am I really going to notice the Sigma differences?
He's referring to two different games at once. But I'm going to let y'all answer that question. I don't really understand that question.
I don't either. I guess maybe just let's just reframe that to if this is your first Ninja Gaiden, what are you jumping into?
If this is your first Ninja Gaiden, you're jumping into a very unique combat system that allows you to kind of freely flow around the battlefield. You can run across walls, you can jump on enemy heads, you can, leap towards an enemy, throw them away. There's just a ton of different things that you can do to enemies, and you really need to find the balance of using all those techniques in the right ways to be able to survive. I always say that the dance of Ninja Gaiden is you're not trying to be cool, you're trying to survive. And in the process of trying to survive, you're looking cool as hell. Whereas the Devil May Cry, where you're just playing around with enemies like they're toys, doing the fanciest stuff that you can do just because it's fun. Whereas if you wanted to just survive in that game, you could play it pretty boring. Ninja Gaiden is different in the way that the stuff that you do to survive will make you feel really cool.
Well said, my friend. Well said. Well, those are all the questions we flagged from the comments. Mitchell, thank you so much for your final preview. At least we're pretty sure we're not going to get another real deep look at this game again, because it's out in, what, 2 months?
But October... if you do want to do another look at yeah. I would love to play it again.
Yeah, if Team Ninja just wants to...
Ninja Gaiden 4 Shift.
I'm sorry, my mic was off just now. I was saying this is another video that was uploaded today, so I'm gonna just check this one out too and see what it's about.
The action from Ryu Hayabusa to Yakumo, a member of the even more shadowy Raven clan. But after going hands-on with the first 3 chapters, plus the prologue, across several hours of play, it feels instantly familiar. Perhaps that's one reason Koei Tecmo dropped their phenomenal Ninja Gaiden 2 Black re-release last year. Forget the other ill-advised sequels and spin-offs. Ninja Gaiden 4 continues to
that
carry
came out
the
earlier
character
this year,
action
not last
high
year.
bar forward,
Like
as if
6 months ago.
2008 just happened. Loading Ninja Gaiden 4 up for the first time, I forego jumping straight into the story to simply mess around with the controls in training. Like extremely violent jazz, the familiar notes are all present and mine to play with. New protagonist Yakumo is just as competent as Ryu at weaving together combos across various weapons. Nab enough red orbs from felled foes and I can power up my devastating ultimate technique moves, helping to keep huge mobs at bay. Dish out enough damage and Yakumo can lop off limbs, opening enemies up to gratifying instant finishing move kills, lest the limbless enemies grab you and blow themselves up to take off a massive chunk of health. Even though development duties have shifted from Team Ninja to being headed up by Platinum Games, itself responsible for some of the best character action games in the genre, like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, it's fantastic just how at home I feel instantly after unsheathing my controller. I tap out a launcher move to flick one enemy into the air, leap up to join him, and without having to even look at a combo list, Rising: Revengeance, it's fantastic just how at home I feel instantly after unsheathing my controller. I tap out a launcher move to flick one enemy into the air, leap up to join him, and without having to even look at a combo list, plunge him into the iconic Itzuma drop piledriver move. It's like I never missed a day of ninja training. I've still got the moves.
I think he meant there's a launcher button with Yakumo.
The 2000s edge to stand alongside its predecessors, though at the same time it brings a new perspective to the world of ninja clans that we know. With the Dark Dragon defeated by Ryu Hayabusa, star of the previous games, its skeletal corpse still hangs suspended over Tokyo, spewing a cursed blood rain. With a futuristic cyberpunk-like take on the city evacuated, it's now controlled by an elite military force and Ryu himself, as they protect a series of shrines powered by imprisoned demons who protect the seal, ensuring Dark Dragon at least somewhat dead. Yakumo and the Raven clan, however, have other plans. An ancient prophecy of the clan states that this extra shadowy clan will be responsible for ridding the world of the Dark Dragon once and for all. Encountering the dragon's priestess, however, she tells Yakumo that the only way to do so is to resurrect it and then cleanse it, and that she'll help him do it. Sneaking through the quarantine zone to enter the lockdown Tokyo, it's up to Yakumo to slice through all the barriers in place, slay the demons protecting the seals, and then deal with the Dark Dragon, which, of course, puts him directly at odds with Ryu Hayabusa, even if on paper they have the same goals. Cast in an internal light lit by neon, and with the strange twisting skeleton of the dragon hanging overhead, this vision of Tokyo is incredible, and as Yakumo gets closer to each demon's seal, they additionally twist the reality of Tokyo with their own theming. It means Ninja Gaiden 4 feels structurally familiar to past entries, while also feeling fresh, chapter-based, and very replayable because of it. Yakumo's ultimate goal to take down each powerful demon is similar to Ninja Gaiden 2, for instance, but for those who loved that game's futuristic Tokyo opening, it seems like much more of this entry will be based around exploring that location, which is great as far as I'm concerned. The prologue and 3 chapters I play set all this up. taking me right the way through to slaying that first demon. Which isn't to say there's nothing new in Ninja Gaiden 4. Far from it. It's simply that Platinum Games' approach to building anew comes out of great respect for the solid foundations put into place by Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden 2. Yakumo's familiar moveset and weapons are a springboard for him to leap into even more explosively stylish fights than the series has tackled before, pushing me even harder in turn. Yakumo's Raven clan works from the shadows to achieve their goals, and they have some equally dark abilities to match. Most notable is Yakumo's Bloodbind Ninjutsu, a sort of blood magic that allows him to transform both himself and his weapons into a powered-up Blood Raven form. Crucially, this is a constantly available mode shift, rather than a break in case of emergency Hail Mary. Hold the left trigger down, and Yakumo will shift instantly, giving him access to a different moveset right away. It's a new layer of action that slides right above the standard stuff. Using Bloodbind attacks expends the meter, but just about every regular option will accumulate it as well, from landing normal strikes to nifty perfect dodges. These transform your weapon as well. Yakumo's dual swords fusing together into one extra long, gnarly, glowing red one, or his polearm getting a big old spinning drill head. It's not just that Yakumo can shift a Blood Raven by just holding down a trigger, but that weaving in and out of it mid-combo is necessary to keep tussles in your favor. Enemies can block your attacks and even hit you back with counterattacks and the like if you're not careful, but your stronger Blood Raven powered attacks can break through their guards and keep the damage flowing and the limbs flying. These attacks can be charged as well, boosting their delimbing potential, and even used as a follow-up to counters and perfect dodges to strike many enemies at once. Stronger enemies and bosses can use special moves of their own, denoted by a red exclamation mark above their head and a red marker on the ground where they're about to hit. While you can still dodge these, you can't block them, unless you transform into Blood Raven before blocking. Catch an enemy with Blood Raven attacks while they charge up these moves, and you can knock them out of performing them as well. While playing defensively is an option, Ninja Gaiden 4 really rewards you for leaning into offense, and using Bloodbind skills to push through enemy assaults by extending your own attacks even further.
A new grapple hook even allows Yakumo to stay on the move,
bouncing around each area quickly so you don't need to deal with downtime. It doesn't completely solve the still present annoyance of being sniped from off screen, but it does empower you to descend upon enemies using ranged attacks with ease to strike them from the battle record sharpish. But it doesn't stop there. Stay on the offense and Yakumo's Berserker mode meter accumulates, waiting for you to click in both sticks. If you thought injecting ultimate techniques into fights was powerful, you haven't seen anything yet. As well as enhancing Yakumo's ability, Berserk charged Blood Raven strikes can one-hit kill a lot of enemies, punctuating the action with a red-tinted skill screen as you do. Ryu Hayabusa returns as a playable character too, feeling even closer to the old games to play as. Yet he still has similar controls to Yakumo, with his own awakened form replacing Blood Raven. It feels more like a bonus mode in what I played, simply allowing me to run back through a mission I played as Yakumo, but with Ryu instead and no story content. I've yet to see if playing as him will become more involved further into the game. It's nice to have the option to control him, but I'm more interested in how he'll fare as a potential threat to Yakumo in the story. Even though I played the first two Ninja Gaiden games to death, less so the third game, otherwise it'd be me that'd be dying, my instant familiarity with the core of Ninja Gaiden 4 doesn't stop me running into some roadblocks. Ninja Gaiden 4 can be hard, especially as it really does expect you to make the most out of Yakumo's Blood Raven abilities. As usual though,
That's what I was saying. I hope to God that it's not forced upon you. Like, let's say if an enemy is blocking, you should have an alternative that doesn't use meter to be able to get past their block. I'm not thinking of the word right now. It could be more difficult, even extremely difficult, but you should have another option. You can't just rely on that Blood Raven thing all day for like, because you're gonna bore out the players. Like, if the player is playing and it's like, yo, I just want to do freeform combos on Master Ninja on an enemy, and then like the majority of the enemies are elite enemies that just block your attacks, and you're forcing them to spam this Blood Raven thing in order for you to attack them, it's gonna be whack. Like, nobody want to play like that forever. Like, you gotta have variety of moves to get around a situation. You can't just have a end not end all be all, like a one move only answer to that move. It can't be like that.
Counters where I'd fail a few times, I had to remember to actually slow down. As with most character action games, be they Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden 4 shares a lot of DNA with fighting games. Button mashing will only get you so far. You need to play with intentionality, with each combo having a purpose. You don't have to memorize every possible combo in the skill list, but it's about finding a midpoint in that knowledge in which to improvise reaction to the attacks from hordes of enemies, and understanding why you might want to respond one way and not another, and not panicking because you're overwhelmed. Once I slow things down, I can fold in ideas about Bloodbind and ninjutsu more clearly. A dodge here, respond with a Bloodbind launcher to keep him suspended, then flow into this bigger guy, and push through with Bloodbind if he blocks. Then use ultimate technique to regroup. That's a feeling I'm more than familiar with from the older Ninja Gaiden games. And as I splash buckets of blood all over Tokyo, both my own and my enemies, I'm shocked that even after all these years, they've finally gone back to basics to give us a new one of these. It's a feeling I've not had since Devil May Cry 5, and didn't expect to have again. Now, time to transform into a big drill and carve through goons, quoth the Raven. But what about you? Will you be picking up Ninja Gaiden 4? Let us know in the comments, and stick with Games Radar for the latest news, previews, and more.
So I saw like 3 things I wanted to touch on in this video. I think the first thing was when he was fighting the boss. Not the Ryu part yet. Where is it? I think it's like right around here.
First time, I forego jumping straight into the story to simply mess around with the controls in training. Like extremely violent jazz, the familiar notes are all present and mine to play with. New
There's a part where he's fighting a big samurai guy. Where's the big samurai guy? Okay, I think it's here somewhere. He gets cheap hit.
Gaiden 2. Yakumo's familiar moveset and weapons are a springboard for him to leap into even more explosively stylish fights than the series has tackled before, pushing me even harder in turn. Yakumo's Raven clan works from the shadows to achieve their goal.
I don't like that. Like, I feel like every 2 seconds it's some enemy that's raining down bullets. Like, you get a thing called untouchable, but
works from the shadows to
does he automatically block bullets if like you're running forward? That's the question.
And they have some equally dark abilities to match. Most notable is Yakumo's Bloodbind ninjutsu, a sort of blood magic that allows him to transform both himself and his weapons into a...
Alright, so this part. He does a UT, right? Which, by the way, does less damage to elite enemy than your regular combos do. But look, he does a UT, and then he's gonna get hit like right at the end of this UT. But we saw in a previous clip that you're able to like instantly dodge during the recovery frames, which I don't know how it's possible, but
crucially, this is a constant
slash, right? Recovers, and then he's hit immediately. It looked like he did fully recover here though, compared to the other one.
Shift,
but it's like I didn't see
in case of emergency.
I didn't see any sort of like indicator that was gonna happen. Like there's no way to know that.
Constantly available.
There's no way to know that they're gonna do that. There's no way.
Motion.
Like you just take the hit. I'd be so upset.
Rather than a break in
I have the preempt perfect block right there.
Hold the left trigger down.
And then the other thing was he's playing with Hayabusa. Here is this part. And this is what I was saying. Like these Gleam form and Blood Raven forms look like they're super like
and bosses can use
like they're forced upon you. And I pray right there. Like you see, like she did the red thing, right? Now you could dodge that, right? Because she's doing an unblockable attack. But I'm talking about like when you're hitting the enemy and they're blocking you to get through their guard.
Head and a red marker
hopefully it's not forced.
While you can still dodge these, you can't block them. unless you transform into Bloodraven before blocking.
Yo, these free
Catch an enemy
UTs
with
are
Bloodraven
kind of
attacks
disgusting.
while they charge up these moves.
Like,
and you
I don't
can
want to
knock
hear
them out
no
of performing
Ninja
as
Gaiden
well.
2 slander.
While playing
Like,
defensively
I've
is
watched
an
people
option,
just stand there and do a UT. Like, anytime you ever did that in UT, the enemy throws a projectile automatically. Like, you forced them to throw a
Gaiden 4
projectile.
really rewards you for leaning
It's right
into
here.
offense.
Slash,
and using
slash,
blood-
slash, slash. Then she does her, I guess, her enhanced move or whatever. Now it has the exclamation mark on you. So now you have to use the glee move. Is there no other way out of here?
Fine.
Like, I mean, you could probably dodge there because, again, it's an attack. She's not blocking
skills
compared to
push
the other
through enemy
enemies.
assault, and using Bloodbind
He blocks. It looks. Oh, he blocks the move. It takes chip damage from
to
him,
push through
and then he does the gleam
enemy
move.
assaults by extending your own attacks even further.
A new grapple hook even allows Yakumo to stay on the move,
Bouncing around each area quickly so you don't need to deal with downtime. It doesn't completely solve the still present annoyance of being sniped from off screen, but it does empower you to descend
eat my-
upon enemies
my wings
using
so y'all
ranged
can see me
attacks
now.
with ease to strike them from the battle record sharpish. But it doesn't stop there. Stay on the offense and Yakumo's Berserker mode meter accumulates, waiting for you to click in both sticks. If you thought injecting ultimate techniques into fights was powerful, you haven't seen anything
Bro, why?
yet. As well,
Why does the okay? I assume these new enemies. And forgive me if I sound like I'm just nitpicking right now, but like, I'm assuming that these new enemies are like the new ghost fish. They're based off that giant shark boss or whatever. But if there's such small enemies like that, they should be dying quick. He does an ultimate and it's doing full combos on them.
sticks. If you thought injecting ultimate techniques into fights was
Like, that's
powerful,
crazy.
you haven't seen anything yet.
It should be
As
dead
well as
in 1 to
enhancing
2 hits.
Yakumo's ability, Berserk charged Bloodraven strikes can one-hit kill a lot of enemies, punctuating the action with a red-tinted skill screen as
I figured they could insta-kill mad enemies. The problem that I have with it, again, is like, I seen in my eyes what was cheap to me was that he did his blood attack and he slashed the enemies, right? And the enemies didn't die, but they were in a state to be where you could do an obliteration technique on them. When you do the obliteration technique on them, it gives you 10% meter back, which is enough to do another sword swing. So, like, why wouldn't somebody spam that? I like balance in the game, but I like when you introduce a new move, you got to understand how to balance it correctly. Like, you should never have a special attack and then the special attack leads to an insta kill and then the insta kill gives you back your special attack. It shouldn't be like that. Like, you should have to fight for it.
you do. Ryu Hayabusa returns as a playable character too, feeling even closer to the old games to play as. Yet he still has similar controls to Yakumo, with his own awakened form replacing Bloodraven. It feels more like a bonus mode in what I've played, simply allowing me to run back through a mission I played as Yakumo.
Bro, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the entirety of the game is Yakumo. And it just lets you do chapter challenge with Ryu. Because now that I think about it, like they say the story is 80% Yakumo and 20% Hayabusa. But like the Hayabusa part of it, if you really think about it, up until now we ain't seen nothing. We didn't see nothing. The only stage that we seen that was different that Hayabusa was in was the forest stage. Using like some sort of jungle or whatever. Which they explain like each part of the demons is like a different like void dimension or whatever. But I didn't see anything like really explaining like his part in the story at all. Like, it just says, yeah, he's there to reseal the Dark Dragon, and then the other guy is there to resurrect and then kill the Dark Dragon. So,
But with Ryu instead and no story content. I've yet to see if playing as him will become more involved further into the game. It's nice to have the option to control him, but I'm more interested in how he'll fare as a potential threat to Yakumo in the story. Even though I played the first 2 Ninja Gaiden games to
I wouldn't be
death,
surprised
less so
if
the third
there's
game, otherwise it'd be me
chapter
having
challenge where
my
you face
instant
clone
familiarity
version of
with
your
the
character.
core of Ninja Gaiden 4 doesn't
Like, if
stop
you're
me
playing
running into
Yakumo, you
some
face
roadblocks.
Hayabusa. If you're
Ninja
playing
Gaiden 4
Hayabusa, you
can
face
be
Yakumo.
hard, especially as it really does expect you you to make the most out of Yakumo's Blood Raven abilities. As usual though, in encounters where I'd fail a few times, I had to remember to actually slow down. As with most character action games, be they Bayonetta or Devil May Cry,
remember to
Ninja
slow
Gaiden
down.
4 shares a lot of DNA
Why?
with fighting games. Button mashing will only get you so far. You need to play with intentionality, with each combo having a purpose. You don't have to memorize every possible combo in the skill list, but it's about
Definitely
finding
not.
a midpoint
It's
in that
definitely not,
knowledge
bro.
in which to improvise reaction to the attacks from hordes of enemies, and understanding why you might want to respond one way and not another, and not panicking because you're overwhelmed. Once I slow things down, I can fold in ideas about Bloodbind and ninjutsu more clearly. A dodge here, respond with a Bloodbind launcher to keep him suspended, then flow into this bigger guy, and push through with Bloodbind if he blocks. Then use ultimate technique to regroup. That's a feeling I'm more than familiar with from the older Ninja Gaiden games. And that's a feeling
See how
I'm
he
more than
explained
familiar-
that?
A dodge here,
Like,
respond.
hold on, a little more.
Not another, and not panicking because you're overwhelmed. Once I slow things down, I can fold in ideas about Bloodbind and ninjutsu more clearly. A dodge here, respond with a Bloodbind launcher to keep him suspended, then flow into this bigger guy, and push through with Bloodbind if he blocks. Then use ultimate technique to regroup.
That's what I'm saying though. The push through when he blocks part is just like, bro, if I'm hitting you with a combo and then you just ignore hit stun and you just start blocking, it's gonna piss me off, bro. It's really gonna aggravate the crap out of me, bro. Like it's different if you're a boss character. Like when you're fighting Rodin, the devil dude in Bayonetta, right? The game gives you a certain amount of times you can hit him so that you don't infinite combo the boss, right? But you can still full combo that boss. But then if you do too much, you know, he has a hard parry in between. Like I was explaining this exact thing in the ZZZ video about why there's a certain boss in that game that's broken, which is funny. It's the exact same reason. But he hard parries or hard blocks in between so that you're prepared that he like now that you're neutral in this game, because there's neutral in hack and slash games like there is fighting games. Your neutral is reset. So now you start over. Now you have to dodge the boss attacks and then wait for like him to be in a punishable frame to be able to do damage to him. But if you're gonna make it to where like their punishable frames can just be ignored, I'm gonna lose my mind, bro. Like I'm going to rage. Like, cause I hate games that do that. I really do hate games that do that. It's very annoying, but
That's a feeling I'm more than familiar with from
Man.
the older Ninja Gaiden games.
but that's all I
And as
really had
splashed
for
buckets of blood all over
Ninja
Tokyo,
Gaiden today.
both my own and my
I mean,
enemies. I'm shocked that even after all these years, they've
There's nothing
finally
else.
gone back to basics to give us a new one of these. It's a feeling I've not had since
they didn't go back to basics. They
Devil May Cry 5,
did
and
more
didn't
stuff.
expect to have
I
it
can't say they went back
Now,
to basics.
Time to transform into a big drill and carve through goons, quoth the Raven. But what about you? Will you be picking up Ninja Gaiden 4? Let us know in the comments, and stick with Games Radar for the latest news, previews, and more.
And the ball. All right, so yeah, that's Ninja Gaiden for today. That's all I had. Team Ninja is supposed to be dropping the video on the gauntlets sometime ever. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, man. With that being said, I